Fisher, and the Best Picture Oscar goes to Oscar, and the Best Picture Oscar goes to Oscar Robert Fisher.
Wow! The Best Picture Oscar, posthumously awarded to me, the Oscar. And one of the biggest questions I get is, how did I ever come up inventing the Best Picture Oscar? Contest master, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guests, it's been a fabric of my life. It all started with a crash while driving Miss Daisy, or Gigi as I came to know her. She was an American beauty. We had met in Casablanca, not Morocco, out of Africa, that little hamlet near Chicago. Our first date, I thought, was going to be the lost weekend, as she spoke of her sister incessantly. It was all about Eve, this and that. But I was like Shakespeare in love. We'd go to the theater and see Oliver as the sound of music filled the theater, with my fair lady next to me. Or so I thought. In the heat of the night, I failed to notice she had left with the departed audience. And for missing that small detail, I should be unforgiven. I knew she had a beautiful mind. So I quickly raced from the theater. Found her, we spoke. She was going my way. So we headed back to the apartment. She called me her midnight cowboy, as I spun my exploits of traveling from here to eternity, of seeing the greatest show on earth on the bridge at the River Kwai, and trekking around the world in 80 days. She told me of her time caring for a British soldier who had broken her heart. The English patient abandoned her after it was all quiet on the Western Front. Soon my brave heart allowed me to marry her, start a family, and begin a brand new career. What was that career? I invented the Best Picture Oscar. I was awarded a patent for it. And I made lots of money and became a man for all seasons. What did I do with my money, you may ask? I went to the western part of town, near the Forest Gump, and built low-income housing. It was my $1 million baby. And my tenants affectionately referred to me as the Slumdog Millionaire. It was in this forest I first met Tom Jones, who hunted 8-pointed bucks and held dances with wolves to prove his manhood. The deer hunter and I had a fondness for the Roman Empire. On weekends, he would play the part of gladiator, and I the part of the last emperor. Until that fateful day. You see, the chariots of fire we were riding crashed into the complex and burned it to the ground. There are no more Roman reenactments allowed. And it will be ever known as the West Side Story. Years later, my wife and I retired, but not happily. We were in the same house, in the same living room, on opposite ends, with our volumes of our televisions raised to their fullest, watching Seinfeld reruns. It was Kramer versus Kramer. Then one day, Gigi stood up and she threw her shoes at me. One sailed over my head and hit the wall. The other one flew over the cuckoo's nest and out struck forward. And suddenly, all you could hear was the silence of the lambs. Yes, our mute pet lambs, Amadeus and Gandhi. It was the final straw. We soon divorced. And I placed her on my Schindler's List. But the true victim in all of this was our son. You see, we made our son Ben hurt. As I reflect on the past, I realized the best years of our lives are spent as ordinary people. We become the godfather of one, or the godfather to several children. But in the end are left with no country for old men. But hey, I had a good life. How green was my valley, you may ask? Let's just say there was little rain, man. I had a few close friends and neighbors I shared my life. We had Mrs. Minerva and her daughter Rebecca, who lived upstairs. Lawrence of Arabia, who never used coasters when he'd come by. So after he left, we called him Lord of the Rings. And finally, my best friend, the great Ziegfeld, who I just called Marty because he really wasn't that great. But it happened one night while walking through the kitchen. On a paper towel, I saw ants fighting their queen for control. Mutiny on the bounty, don't you know? I stepped upon a scorpion, and I died from the sting. And since you can't take it with you, I left all my money to charity. The funeral in Cimarron was a beautiful sight. A cavalcade of hikers, marching in step like a platoon to a titanic, rocky crag, as my ashes were scattered, while terms of endearment filled the valley like the Broadway melody. And I was gone.